You know, Keith Ryan's talking about increased cooling demand, and we've all talked about it, we've all seen it, and anybody who's in the heat pump business knows all about that as well. And that's the state has been trying to encourage more usage of those kinds of heating and cooling systems.
Right, and we both have them. And the good thing about that too is that you don't have to decide when to take it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're just like, well, if there's a weird October night, then I'll, I can kick it on. You shouldn't need it though, Pat. Over the next few. Visible satellite showing a cloudy day along the coastline. It is quite gloomy with low stratus around. But as you head north of Bangor, it's actually a beautiful day. So I mentioned earlier that the mountains are the place to be today, northern Maine, but that will probably reverse tomorrow. It will be nicer as you get closer to the coast. As far as rain goes, the heavy stuff is offshore, but a couple of sprinkles out there, especially just to the west of Portland. And as I mentioned, the way the atmosphere is stacked today, probably those showers are actually getting to the ground. Sometimes you can have echoes like that on the radar and they evaporate before they hit the ground, but probably not today because we've moistened up the atmosphere and the clouds are low. Temperatures in the low 60s to mid 60s. Going to come in probably a few degrees below average unless we break out late here. And that's really our only chance along the coast. There's a late break to some sun, but it's only a few hours before sunset most likely. Overnight tonight, temperatures drop down to the 40s. A couple of upper 30s possible in a place like Rangeley and into Caribou and Berlin, New Hampshire as well. Tomorrow is a nice day. I'd call it a mixture of sun and clouds. Notice there is an isolated chance for a sprinkle in the mountains, but I think the vast majority of us stay dry. But even with dry conditions, temperatures only get to around 60 degrees. Chance for a shower on Wednesday night. Thursday starts with a mixture of sun and clouds, and then a pop-up shower possible on Thursday afternoon. But once again, high temperatures 57, 58, 59, 60 degrees. So pretty cool even for this time of the year. The whole setup here is we've got an upper level low kind of spinning around. And so these set up sometimes in the spring, and they can be pretty nasty in the spring because they're pretty cloudy and pretty rainy. This time of the year, they're just extra instability in the atmosphere that gives us a chance of showers more often than you normally see it. So the showers out there today, again Wednesday night, and again Thursday afternoon to Thursday night. So it just gives you that kind of unstable pattern. We're going to try to get this ridge of high pressure in time for the weekend. The weekend is not a lock yet, but it does look like we should be able to generally dry things out in time. All right, Sam. Let's have a look at that. We talked about it last week. The good news is the models have fairly consistently pushed us now to the east of Bermuda. And so it may be a problem for our neighbors up to the north in Canada, but it does not look like it will be an impact for us. Maybe close enough for some swells when it gets its closest, but it is no longer a direct threat or a chance of a threat for the East Coast, which is good news. I want to draw your attention to these overnight lows here. Thursday, Friday, upper 30s. Possible, and we do still have isolated showers on Friday. Saturday morning is quite crisp. Again, we're playing it optimistic for the weekend. It's still a little bit up in the air as to whether or not we get any showers in here, but there's not overwhelming evidence that will happen. So we'll have us right now in the mid 60s, overnight lows, upper 30s to around 40 degrees, and then bright and seasonable on Monday in the mid 60s there again. So there's nothing outstanding or terrible about this pattern in general, Pat. I think our perception this week will come down to how the weekend ends up actually playing out.
That usually has a lot to do with how we feel about the weather.
Yes.
Thank you, Keith.